In the prelude to the pivotal encounter, the ring reverberated with iconic promos and moments that etched themselves into wrestling lore. The charismatic Dusty Rhodes donned the mantle of Muhammad Ali, embodying the everyman's spirit and the pursuit of the American dream. Opposing him was the aristocratic NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair, known for his impeccable suits, luxurious cars, and shimmering jewels. Joe Frazier, the special referee, personified the stark contrast between the common man and the elite superstar. Rhodes, despite his cartoonish antics, possessed an uncanny ability to generate hype. The stakes were colossal, not just for the championship, but also for the allure of a high-profile boxing match. As Greensboro cheered for its hometown hero Flair, strategies were devised to shift attention towards Rhodes. Flair's aloof demeanor and reluctance to share a space with Rhodes created an air of tension. However, the match that had been long anticipated turned out to be surprisingly brief. Despite its simplicity, it left many feeling anticlimactic. This marked a recurring pattern in Rhodes's booking for major events, where his attempts to sustain the fervor often ended up extinguishing the flames. In the smoldering embers of the wrestling realm, an incongruous figure emerged as the arbiter of its most coveted prize. Kyle Petty, an aspiring race car driver with an unblemished record, ascended to the unlikely throne of judge for the legendary NLA Championship. Flair, the iconic wrestler, had boldly proclaimed the NWA belt as the zenith of athletic achievement. Yet, the path to claiming this hallowed trophy was being charted by a mere $1 million purse. A dissonance filled the air as the hallowed mantle of wrestling elite rested in the hands of an outsider. The absurdity echoed through the wrestling universe. It was akin to entrusting Carol Burnett with the solemn role of refereeing the Super Bowl or appointing Webster, the homely neighbor boy, to umpire the decisive Game 7 of the World Series. The very fabric of the sport seemed to unravel amidst such an inexplicable choice. In this extraordinary clash, two wrestling titans take center stage, their skills and prowess echoing throughout the arena. As spectators, we bear witness to their indomitable spirit, each move a symphony of agility and power. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, the judges fade into obscurity, their presence a mere distraction from the spectacle unfolding before our very eyes. We, the true arbiters of this epic battle, need no guidance from these interlopers who struggle to keep pace with the breathtaking action on display. For in this realm, the outcome has been written in the stars. The combatants have shed all pretense of autonomy, their every step guided by an unseen hand. Yet, amidst the preordained chaos, they unleash a torrent of adrenaline that captivates our senses and ignites our souls. As a fiery explosion lit up the arena, the crowd braced themselves for the entrance of the main event, eagerly awaiting the appearance of none other than the legendary American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. While the dubbed music might have seemed out of place at first, it strangely added to the feeling of fate and purpose that hung in the air, highlighting Dusty Rhodes's moment in the spotlight. Tonight, he stood beside Ric Flair, both dressed in flashy robes that shimmered under the lights, signaling a showdown of epic proportions. Flair, in his purple robe and adorned with boas, transformed into the notorious heel as the audience watched in anticipation. In the annals of commentary, it appears that Mid-Atlantic may have shied away from the iconic voice of Michael Buffer for this pivotal main event. A youthful 18 years may have precluded his involvement. As Bob Caudle and I dissected the action, it became evident that Dusty had undertaken an ambitious mission to enhance his physical prowess. He had embarked on a perilous journey among the heavyweight titans of the squared circle. However, our scrutiny revealed a twist in the tale. Rather than grappling with gladiators, it seemed Dusty's heavyweight encounters were occurring at the local old country buffet. His diet had shifted from modest whoppers to monstrous triple whoppers. And instead of hoisting iron, he had taken to indulging in heavy platefuls of culinary delights. Tragically, Dusty's pursuit of physical dominance had been derailed by a relentless feast of inactivity. Exercise had become an elusive dream in the face of such gastronomic temptation. In the opening act, Ric Flair launched a relentless assault with a barrage of thunderous elbow drops. Analysis suggests that Flair's strategy was a masterful display of psychological warfare targeting Dusty Rhodes' vulnerable chest. However, the psychology behind such blunt force remains elusive. Undeterred, Rhodes retaliated with a swift flip-flop, catching Flair off guard and sending him crashing to the canvas. A furious Rhodes then engaged in a classic headlock push, off culminating in a powerful tackle that felled the Nature Boy once more. As Flair attempted to regain momentum with a leapfrog, Rhodes executed his signature bionic elbow, shattering Flair's hopes with a jarring thud. Flair desperately dropped a knee, but to the crowd's dismay, referee Joe Frazier's count seemed suspiciously hasty. As he approached two, a collective sense of unease permeated the air. Had Frazier forgotten the sacred rule of holding the three? As the grappling intensifies, Dusty locks Flair into the dreaded figure four. Flair's piercing screams echo through the air, signaling his imminent demise. However, an oddity strikes the enigmatic Frazier. Unbeknownst to Flair's strategy, Frazier anticipates his inevitable submission. Yet, to his bewilderment, Flair does not succumb to the hold. Instead, he hovers erratically above the mat, refusing to capitulate. Frazier, perplexed by Flair's defiance, drops to his knees and repeatedly slaps the canvas with unrestrained fervor. "Surrender, Flair," he implores, his voice laced with frustration. "Why do you toy with me?" Finally, with a swift and inevitable thud, Flair's shoulders graze the mat, eliciting the referee's swift count. However, a glimmer of determination remains in Flair's eyes as he scrambles towards the ropes. Dusty, sensing his opponent's desperation, mercilessly drags him back into the ring, where he unleashes a thunderous elbow drop onto Flair's aching muscles. In the depths of a tumultuous battle, the enigmatic Ric Flair shifted gears, unleashing a flurry of gouging strikes upon his formidable opponent, Dustin Rhodes. However, Flair's legs had seemingly betrayed him, leaving him vulnerable. As the crowd gasped in anticipation, Flair transitioned seamlessly to an agonizing wrist lock from above. Yet, like a bolt from the blue, Rhodes summoned his primal power, hurling Flair to the canvas with an earth-shattering chop. Rhodes then propelled Flair into the corner, where he unleashed a punishing barrage of elbow drops. In a desperate attempt to escape, Flair executed an Irish whip, only to be met with Rhodes's thunderous gorilla press slam. The impact sent Flair crashing into the unforgiving mat, a testament to his relentless spirit. As the action spilled outside the ring, both men exchanged blows in a brutal street fight. Seizing the opportunity, Flair ensnared Rhodes in a suffocating sleeper hold, but his cunning opponent wriggled free. In a desperate gambit, Flair dragged Rhodes to the concrete and seized his ankle, igniting a wild brawl. As the struggle intensified, Rhodes seized a headlock, but was unforgivingly sent crashing into the ring post. Blood erupted from Rhodes's forehead, painting a grotesque tableau that foreshadowed the inevitable conclusion. Like a frenzied banshee, Rhodes returned to the ring, his face a crimson mask. The blood dripped relentlessly down his body, creating a macabre spectacle. And as the final moments ticked away, Rhodes unleashed a torrent of bloodletting upon himself, mimicking the scratchings of a stylus on a record. With his face a bloodied masterpiece, Rhodes sealed his victory over Flair in a stunning display of brutality that showcased the raw power and relentless spirit that defined the golden age of wrestling. Amidst the raucous crowd, Joe Frazier halted Flair's relentless assault, his gaze fixed on Dusty Rhodes. As Frazier approached his fallen foe, Dusty adamantly resisted his bloodshot eyes, pleading for space. Flair, desperate to continue his punishment, circled Frazier like a predator. With lightning speed, he soared past the referee's outstretched arm, a knee slamming into Dusty's flesh. Frazier's inspection was thwarted, hindered by Flair's unrelenting fury. As Flair's fists rained down on Dusty's injured eye, Rhodes mustered a desperate surge of resistance. However, Flair intercepted his comeback with a flurry of blows to the afflicted area. Frazier intervened once more, his arms outstretched like a shield. A hushed silence fell over the arena as he signaled towards ringside, a grim expression etched across his face. Fraser held Rhodes captive in the corner, his attention focused on the sickening wound. As he whispered into the ear of an unseen figure, Flair's rage reignited. Dusty, seizing the moment, erupted from the corner, striking blindly at his tormentor. Fraser, torn between his duty and the brutality unfolding before him, stepped between the combatants. With trembling hands, he separated them once again, his gaze fixed on the crimson stain that marred Dusty's face. A silent plea escaped his lips, and ringside responded with a resounding gong. The match was over, a bitter end to what had promised so much. In the tumultuous tapestry of the main event, the ebbs and flows were evident, but the glaring blemish I shall address momentarily. The lion's share of this encounter unfolded as a timeless Rhodes. Flair saga, the relentless back, and fourth, punctuated by crisp execution and evocative storytelling, captivated the audience. In a novel twist, Dusty assumed the mantle of the leg worker, a subtle nod to tradition that infused the proceedings with a touch of nostalgia. Alas, the match's undoing stemmed from a lamentable oversight. Joe Frazier, donning the mantle of referee, embraced the customs of the boxing ring, repeatedly extinguishing the spark of compelling sequences. Frazier's insistence on intervening in the action culminated in a disastrous finish that forever tainted the spectacle. As Flair unleashed a relentless assault on Rhodes's eye, Frazier's presence became an unwelcome distraction. His constant examinations of the wound halted the building momentum, extinguishing the flame of Flair's meticulous work. Finally, in a cruel twist of fate, Frazier arbitrarily halted the contest, citing the excessive blood flow. The boxing-style finale for a wrestling match left a bitter taste in the mouths of fans, extinguishing the potential for greatness. The brevity and absurdity of the conclusion, marred by incompetent officiating, cast a shadow over what could have been a timeless classic. Rhodes's post-match fury directed towards Frazier was a testament to the frustration and disappointment that pervaded the audience. The hasty exit of the referee offered scant solace. The main event, once destined for greatness, became a cautionary tale of how misplaced authority can irreparably damage even the most promising encounters. Starrcade 84. The shadow cast by its illustrious predecessor falls short of its mark. Its lackluster undercard fails to ignite excitement, rendering most of the bouts relics of a bygone era. While the tantalizing clash between Blanchard and Steamboat remains a glimmer in the darkness, the rest of the show fades into obscurity. Fortunately for wrestling enthusiasts, Jim Crockett Promotions learned from its missteps and crafted a masterpiece the following year. Avoid this pitfall, for Starrcade 84 holds little allure.